The Tacoma Narrows Bridge dramatically collapses into Puget Sound and into engineering history. Even though it happened half a century ago, this old steel girder bridge is still influencing bridge building and design today.
This is aerodynamics in 3D coming at you right between the eyeballs. You really have to get up, sit up and take notice of this thing. We have a major...
Clifford was a reporter for the paper.
It scared a lot of people. They wouldn't go across if they didn't have to when it was galloping. Others, they just got used to it. But you'd be driving across, and the way it was galloping, you'd see a car ahead of you, and then all of a sudden it would disappear in a gully, and you'd be in the gully behind it, and there'd be a hill in front of you. And then all of a sudden it would appear again.
Finally, local officials appropriated $20,000 to study what was causing Gertie to gallop.
They were experimenting in the wind tunnel at the University of Washington and had decided to cut big holes in these solid panels to let the wind out, and that contract was being let and would have started in a few days, but wasn't soon enough.
On November 7th, a 42-mile-per-hour wind began to gust through the Narrows. Gertie began to gallop more than ever. Authorities closed the bridge to traffic after allowing the last motorist and his dog to pass. When he was halfway across, the bridge began to sway violently, forcing the driver to abandon his car and his panicked dog.
The bridge was not only galloping like it does, but beginning to twist and turn, and he couldn't keep the car on a straight path, so he finally got out, and he tried to get the dog, and it bit him. So he had to crawl on his hands and knees till he got to the tower, and then he could stand up and kind of stagger back.
Gertie continued her wild gallop. Howard Clifford looked on, trying to figure a way to get to the dog still stuck in the car.
I didn't know whether the bridge was going to fall or not. I thought maybe we could go out to the car and get the dog out of it. There was a sound that sounded like rifle shots. It was the cables from the main cable, suspension cable, down to the...
Howard Clifford himself barely escaped.
We couldn't get out to the dog. I mean, it just... If I'd have gone out to the dog, I'd have probably been there when the bridge dropped. If I could have got out, but it was just bouncing so much that I couldn't get out there.
What had made Gertie so affordable turned out to be its design flaw. The solid plate girders and narrow two-lane roadway acted as a sail in the wind. It's a phenomenon we now know as flutter.
If there is a steady wind pushing energy into the bridge and it's vibrating in this couple motion, it will continue to get larger and larger oscillations until it eventually destroys itself.
Today, the new Tacoma Narrows Bridge has 4 lanes instead of 2, and the solid plate girders have been replaced with an open framework that allows the wind to pass through. The bridge has become a vital transportation link in Tacoma, but for everyone who travels the modern bridges of the world, a toll must be paid to Galloping Gertie.